Wow, what a beautiful version of the Beatles' Let It Be. That was submitted by senior Caitlin John. Great job, Caitlin. She is a fabulous musician, and for those of you that know her, an even better person. Well, hey, folks, welcome back to It's Friday in the Sea House. I am Mitch Young, your principal. So glad to have you back here at the end of our second week of online school. Now, you heard Caitlin John as the winner of the Beatles Challenge. We also had several other, probably hundreds to be honest with you, submissions this week for the Beatles and Bob Ross challenges. Let me take a look at our winner for the Bob Ross portion of this. That's a picture by Melody Yarborough, complete with beautiful mountains and happy little trees. Great job, Melody. Great job, Caitlin. Now, for those of you that haven't had a chance to submit yet, we'll still take them in It's Learning or in my email. So if you want to continue to send your Bob Ross or Beatles submissions, we'll be happy to take them. And each week, we'll throw up the winners of that week's challenge. Even through this time of school closure and online learning, we want to continue to honor those students and staff members who are doing their bulldog best in the areas of family, communication, honesty, and service. This week, we start off with Gustavo Rodriguez Sesto, who garnered a Bulldog Best Award in service. In the area of both communication and family, we have Nisis Aviles. And also in the area of service, we have Kaylin Denny, as well as her mom, Rachel. Great job to these students and one mom for continuing to do their Bulldog Best. In the area of staff, everybody's favorite, Miss Stephanie Duran, she gets recognized for her work with family. Miss Jennifer Garner in the area of service. And this lady, who may be one of the real MVPs of this time period, Miss Connie Rockline, who is doing a mammoth job of translating phone calls between teachers and parents. And I just cannot say enough about all the work Miss Rockline is doing above and beyond. Thank you, Connie. Continue, everybody, to do your Bulldog best. As we talked about last week, we are in strange times. Some would say that it's an election year and we should expect folks to be divided. And I promise you, if you're watching the news, that's what they're trying to do to us. The politicians, the media, they love a good fight. And so we've got a lot of division out there. But we're also in a time of peril. And in times of peril, one thing that makes Americans great is that we all do rally and come together. And here in the Sea House, we've always made it a point to focus on what unites us rather than what divides us. And at this particular time of crisis, I would urge all Bulldogs out there in the Sea House family to be models for the rest of our community on how to be united. Now, for families and students of our Sea House, I would just tell you there's 4 areas really, truly, that always bring us together. Those areas usually circulate around movies or the visual arts, music, fashion, and sports. Now, fashion's sort of woven into all of those, and last week we tried to highlight both the visual arts in terms of the Bob Ross works that are out there, as well as music in the Beatles album that we referenced last week. This week I've got a new assignment for you, and that assignment is to focus on sports. And you don't have to be an athlete, but you've got to look back at our history and recognize that there is nothing greater about bringing people together than athletics. And there's a lot of movies out there that highlight that. One movie I would ask everybody to watch over the course of the next week or so is the movie Remember the Titans. It's an inspiring story. It's all about bringing people together. And I would encourage everybody to watch that. Send me your thoughts in an email or send me a picture of you and your family enjoying this movie. Another movie that I would urge everybody to watch during this time, which really is kind of a metaphor for what our teachers are doing right now, is a great movie called Apollo 13. Again, a time of crisis that drew everybody together, and in that crisis, innovation was born. And really what you're seeing among your teachers and support staff is innovation at its best. People are going out of their way to learn things faster, in a more creative way educationally than they ever have before. We know it's not perfect. We know that we've got some glitches along the way. But I'm telling you, everybody is doing a bang-up job of trying to make this thing work. So kudos to our teachers. For everybody else out there, please make sure you send me a picture or a video clip of you and your family enjoying one of those movies we referenced. Or send us some pics of you guys doing something athletically. whether it's out in the driveway or the backyard, or at a minimum, maybe playing a good e-sport. Either way, drop those in there so we can check out how you're spending your time in the realm of sports and activities that are good for you. And finally, avoid the news. Watch your president, watch your governor, get the news, but when the talking heads come on after, let's just set that aside. Let's take them for what they're telling us and make our own opinions, and let's stay together throughout this whole thing. Now let's take a look at some of the feedback you guys so graciously sent in to me for ways we can improve the show. Mr. Young, your hair looks awful. You need to get it cut. Well, thank you, and I'll change the name here, Bob, for that advice. I was trying to honor physical distancing, so I had to get this done at home. Thank you to my daughter Alexis for the great work that you did on my head. Miss Jones, I cannot wait for you to come back to school. Mr. Young, I appreciate your efforts to look professional, but please, ditch the tie. Relax, man. Well, thank you, Mikey. I feel it's important to look professional when I do these. I even put on this very special tie given to me by Mama Kaplan. But if that's what you think will make the show better, I can go relaxed here and take this baby off, and we'll go through the rest of the show in a more relaxed manner. Once again, thank you for that advice, Mikey. Mr. Young, on behalf of Coca-Cola, we were so impressed with your show last week. Please check out your closet. Let's take a look. Whoa, check it out. That's awesome. Oh, actually, those drinks were already owed to your school per our contract. We do want you to know, though, that we gave you one more case than we gave Dr. Davison, the principal at Lambert. That's all I needed to hear. And at this point, I would say the emails are getting a little bit more serious. Mr. Young, I am really freaking out. I have so much makeup work that was due before we were sent home because I had been out sick earlier this semester. What can I do about my makeup work? I'm a senior and I want to graduate. At this point, what I would tell you is don't stress about the stuff that was missing prior to us going out into the school closure and online learning. And this is for any student that's out there right now. Now, if you've already worked out an arrangement with an individual teacher to make things up, certainly continue with that. But we do not want anybody at this point stressing about anything that was there from prior to our school closure. There's going to be opportunities when we come back to school, or after April 27th, if the closure does get extended, we will have a plan for how all those that have makeup work from earlier in the semester, how that can be handled. And it may be individually with teachers, but we may have an overall grand plan for everybody. It's something we're working on. We don't want you worrying about that right now. We just want you worrying about the work that is currently going on. That's a great question, and I hope that gives you a little bit of relief. Mr. Young, what is happening with prom and graduation? Signed, a sad senior. Well, as you know, the governor has extended our school closure date until April 27th. All right, our prom was supposed to be held on April 18th. That does not mean that prom has been canceled. We are working with different venues and looking at different options so that if we do come back to school, particularly if we can get back in early May, we will have a prom somewhere, somehow. So take a deep breath. We're going to not let your senior year go by without doing some very special things. Somehow, some way, we'll get that done. As far as graduation goes, at this time, there's no change in what we're doing with graduation. All right, if the governor comes out or something changes on the ground that we've got to extend the school closure date, we'll work with that. But guys, girls, moms, dads, we will have a graduation ceremony somehow, somewhere, just as I said with prom. Don't be sad, senior. Mr. Young, I am a soccer player at Central. We have a great team, and now it seems that our season is over. Is there any hope? Well, actually, soccer player, there is still hope. GHSA has not canceled any season. In fact, what they've said is if everybody is back to school by April 27th, there is still a chance that we'll have GHSA playoffs. So what I would tell you and all the other athletes out there is you need to be working with your coaches on individual workouts. You need to be working to stay in shape so that when we do come back, we can jump right back into competition and make that run for a state championship. And the last email I received says, Dear Mitchell, I have to say, I am so impressed with your TV show. I haven't seen you in person in quite a while, and you look really good. When you have a chance, please call. Love, Mom. Thanks, Mom. P.S. Don't tell your sisters, but you know you've always been my favorite. I may have added that. Anyway, guys, we have had 2 weeks of online learning. It's a learning process for everybody, but you've been doing great. Our teachers have been doing great. One of the emails I didn't read to you, but I think needs mentioning, said, Mr. Young, at the end of last week's show, you went through the things we need to remember when we celebrate. No drugs and alcohol, call or text when you get where you're going, and nothing good happens after midnight, which, of course, is my message to you right now. But the emailer that sent that in said, but you didn't tell us that you loved us, and you always do that on Fridays. I don't know what happened last week. I think in the chaos of everything, the most important message I should have given you is one that for some reason was left out. So guys, celebrate, do the right things, and please know that I love you and your teachers and the staff here at Forsyth Central High School love you. Have a great weekend. Go Dogs. Arr!